The Donner Summit Valley. Cutting across the central Sierra Nevada mountains in California, it is an area of alpine beauty rich in natural resources and human history. The valley is filled with the high mountain Lake Van Norden, acres of meadow, and is surrounded by alpine peaks such as Mount Judah, Mount Lincoln, and Mount Disney. After decades of threatened development, in 2012 an amazing opportunity to preserve the area presented itself when the large open space parcels of the Royal Gorge Ski Resort became available for purchase, due to the financial default of the developers that owned the land. The parcels included 3,000 acres of some of the most scenic areas of the Donner Summit, including the Summit Valley and the area surrounding the Serene Lakes community. In December of 2012, after an unprecedented fundraising effort, the land was purchased by the Truckee Donner Land Trust and became publicly accessible open space. While by itself the acquisition of the Royal Gorge lands created 3,000 acres of open space, the combination of these key parcels, when combined with the existing open space parcel owned by the Forest Service, and the addition of a key parcel owned by Sugar Bowl Ski Resort, resulted in a new and much larger open space area I am calling for now the Donner Summit Open Space Area. The area consists of almost 10,000 acres or 15 square miles of contiguous open space that will be publicly accessible. It is truly a wonderful addition to the summit area. For the remainder of this presentation, I would like to concentrate on the Summit Valley, which makes up just a small portion of the area, but makes a major contribution to the natural resources and biodiversity of the area. So what is so special about the Summit Valley? As I have said, the valley is rich in diversity. It is the diverse habitats in the valley that support many species of fauna, including the endangered willow flycatcher. Bald eagle and osprey hunt in Van Norden Lake, and last summer I discovered a beaver had set up residence in the lake. The wetlands and meadow areas are the home to a diverse population of flora, including wildflowers such as the exquisite camas lily. Human migration into the area dates back thousands of years, and there are many prehistoric artifacts that remain in the valley. In more recent times, early pioneers coming into California passed through and/or settled in the valley, and their signs are still visible today. And the valley is also a site for year-round recreation, including kayaking, hiking, mountain biking, and skiing. So what makes the Summit Valley so diverse biologically? The answer is that it combines so many different natural habitats. In its current configuration, there is a seasonal open water lake which when filled early in the spring covers 70 acres at the eastern end of the valley. The lake supports 70 acres of surrounding wetlands. Wetlands are defined here as areas in which the water table is at surface level during the breeding season, from May through July, of the aquatic birds, mammals, amphibians, and fish that live in the valley. The high water levels support vegetation such as willows and rushes that support the breeding of the aquatic fauna. The wetlands are the most biodiverse area in the entire Summit Valley. The rivers that drain the surrounding watershed create riparian habitat along the riverbanks that support additional animal and plant species. The remainder of the meadow is considered wet meadow, made up primarily of grasses and meadow plants. The meadow is bordered by coniferous forest, and the result is you have a mixture of 5 different habitats that account for the rich biodiversity within the valley. It is said that water is king in California, and this was no less true for the Summit Valley. The valley is the collecting point for two large watershed areas, Castle Valley and Sugar Bowl Basin. The areas are drained by Castle Creek and the South Yuba River. The total watershed area is over 5,000 acres, and with an annual average snowfall of over 30 feet, this represents tens of thousands of acre-feet of water. This makes the Summit Valley and its surrounding watershed a valuable water resource to the entire state of California, and is therefore a concern for the state government. It did not take long for the early settlers in the area to realize the value of the valley as a water resource. In this vintage photo from 1867, the construction of an early dam in the valley is shown to be underway. You can see the railroad line covered by sheds, the early buildings in Soda Springs, and the old Dutch Flat Donner Lake wagon road. The early dam, in a smaller configuration than the present dam, is still under construction. The Yuba River, winding through the meadow, is still flowing through the uncompleted dam, and there is no lake or wetlands. This first configuration of a dam in the valley was the start of a long history of controlling the flow of water through the valley that extends into the present day. It is in fact the disposition of the current dam in the valley that is the first challenge for the Land Trust and Forest Service in their stewardship of the valley. In order to understand the current issues, it is important to understand the history of the dam and its lake. Let's consider that using this timeline. In 1900, the Yuba Canal Company rebuilt the dam in its current footprint at 20 feet high. With the spread of electric power, in 1916, the fledgling PG&E Company acquired the dam and raised the level to 24 feet to store 5,800 acre-feet of water. The dam was the primary stage of water storage for PG&E's downstream hydroelectric generating system. The result in the valley was the formation of a large lake that submerged 3/4 of the valley. In this satellite photo, the 340-acre lake filled almost the entire meadow area. And this photo from 1975 from the top of the dam shows the lake stretching almost the entire length of the meadow. So for 76 years, the dam existed in its 24-foot, 5,800 acre-feet configuration. As a dam this large, it was under the jurisdiction of the California Department of Safety of Dams, or DSOD, and it was inspected annually for safety. In an inspection in July of 1971, there was some deterioration of the dam's wood core detected, as well as some leakage from rodent holes in the front of the dam. Inspection holes were excavated into the dam, and it was found that the leakage was extensive. In 1975, a seismic analysis of the dam found that, contrary to popular belief, the center of the dam was built on 30 feet of silt and was not on bedrock. DSOD issued a warning to PG&E that the dam was seismically unsafe. In February of 1976, PG&E applied to rebuild the dam for $766,000 and start soil studies. DSOD responds by advising PG&E that they will have to make the new dam seismically safe and that it will probably cost more like $2.5 million. In October 1976, PG&E declares rebuilding the dam is not financially feasible. DSOD orders them to breach the dam, and in December 1976, PG&E breaches the dam to a height of 10 feet, and DSOD declares the dam non-jurisdictional because it stores less than 50 acre-feet of water. These photos show the breaching in 1976. In the first photo, the wood core surrounded by earth and fill can be seen. So the dam went from its maximum configuration to the current configuration that we have today. After 1976, the dam remained non-jurisdictional for 35 years. In 1987, DSPUD explored the possibility of rebuilding the dam and restoring the lake as a water supply, but declined due to the costs involved. In 2005, Foster Syme became the owner of the lake and dam. Then, in June 2011, the Nevada Office of Emergency Services notifies DSOD that they believe the Lake Van Norden Dam is of jurisdictional size. DSOD sends out an inspector in August of 2011. He determines that the dam is of jurisdictional size and out of compliance and notifies Foster Syme. In December 2012, the Land Trust takes over the ownership of the lake and dam, and they are immediately confronted with what to do with the dam. So what makes a dam jurisdictional? This chart illustrates how the DSOD determines if they have jurisdiction over a dam. In the case of the 10-foot-high Van Norden Dam, it comes under jurisdiction if it stores over 50 acre-feet of water at its maximum size. In August 2011, the DSOD notifies Royal Gorge LLC, owned by Kurt Syme at the time, that the dam was under state jurisdiction. They proposed 3 alternative solutions. 1. Fix the existing 1,300-foot-wide dam to bring it into compliance as a 24-foot-high, 5,800-acre-foot dam, as PG&E had used it. This would cost millions of dollars and in this day and age is not financially feasible. 2. Lower the height of the dam to 6 feet or lower the volume of the lake to below 50 acre-feet to make it non-jurisdictional. This would require notching the current spillway. And 3. Remove the dam and the lake completely. What the state did not suggest was a possible solution for stabilizing the current configuration. Realistically, the only cost-effective solution to the problem appears to be to configure the dam so that it is no longer under the jurisdiction of the state. This diagram of the current spillway shows the dam to be 10 feet from the toe to the highest point of the spillway. The spillway could be notched to a height that would reduce the volume of the lake to 50 acre-feet, which would also remove the lake from state jurisdiction. The question is, at what level would the dam have to be notched to lower it to 50 acre-feet? That turns out to be a complicated question that really depends on just how much water really is in the lake. That question was finally answered definitively in the summer of 2013 when Balanced Hydrologics determined through a bathymetric analysis that the current spillway would have to be notched 2.2 feet. This would reduce the volume of the lake to 50 acre-feet. But as you can see in this map, this would drain the lake down to about 30 acres, reducing the size of the lake by almost 2/3 of its area. The entire back bay and its surrounding wetlands would be drained. Without the lake water, the 40 acres of lake and the 35 acres of wetland that surround it will naturally convert to meadow and will be lost. There would be serious changes to the habitat areas in the meadow in this configuration. The most serious change would be the reduction of the 36 acres of wetlands in the back bay area of the lake. Without the open water of the lake to support them, the surrounding wetlands would dry out and be converted to meadow. This would significantly reduce the biodiversity of the entire meadow. We can see just how dry this area would become in this photo taken at the end of the summer, when the seasonal reduction of the lake level is at its lowest. It would not take long for the habitat to revert back to wet meadow. It is the goal of this presentation to show what a special place the Summit Valley is today. Through a combination of natural and man-made events, the valley today is a balance of diverse habitats that combine to make it an area of natural beauty and recreation, and more importantly, an area of rich biodiversity. A primary component of the valley today is the open water lake environment and the wetlands that the lake supports. Listed here are some of the contributions that the open water lake makes to the valley. The first three contributions are probably the most important for creating biodiversity. But the rest are no less important in supporting a healthy valley. The problem really centers on how to maintain the back bay area of the lake and the wetlands that it supports. There is a solution that could work using a strategy of divide and conquer. Instead of one large lake that is over 50 acre-feet and jurisdictional, two smaller lakes could be created, each less than 50 acre-feet and non-jurisdictional. There is a natural constriction in the middle of the lake that is about 500 feet across. It would only be necessary to create a low-profile weir at this point to maintain the water at a depth of 2 feet in the back bay area. This could be done by building an engineered dam of mortared boulder that would mimic a natural water feature. The back bay would become a separate lake, less than 50 acre-feet, and the spillway would be notched down 2.2 feet, which would create a front lake of less than 50 acre-feet and make the existing spillway non-jurisdictional. The result would be two lakes of slightly reduced size with only a slight reduction in the amount of lake and surrounding wetlands. A win-win solution. As the summer of 2014 approaches, this is the current status of the disposition of the lake and dam. The current dam is out of compliance, and a solution must be formulated and implemented in the next year or two. The Land Trust is pursuing engineering plans for notching the dam. They have completed a number of studies to get a more accurate picture of what conditions exist in the valley, including an accurate bathymetric analysis and a natural resources inventory. Most important, they have completed a series of public meetings to determine the needs of residents and visitors. Truckee Downer Land Trust has stated that they intend to pursue the notching of the current spillway to reduce the lake volume to less than 50 acre-feet. While they have considered the two-lake solution presented here, there is a real possibility that only the notching will be done. This will result in the destruction of a large area of valuable open lake and wetland habitat that will not only diminish the biodiversity of the Summit Valley, but also much of its scenic beauty. These drastic changes to the environment of the meadow will have to be seriously considered during the California Environmental Regulation Process, CEQA, that any solution must undergo. This process will include a chance for public input that I urge all of you that are concerned about the Summit Valley to participate in. I would like to leave you with this sample of some of the things you might see at the lake and wetlands when you visit the valley. I will end with this beginning, another glorious sunrise marking a new day in the valley, and a new day for all of us that now own it.